It's great to be here. Yes, I am with Jenny, and I am Director of Marketing, and just a little bit of background about my experience and credentials. I've been in the marketing world for, I hate to say, about 30 years or so, and I've worked for large, publicly held companies on the manufacturing side of the business, as well as the distribution side of the business. I've been involved from the early days in my career in public relations, communications, investor relations for publicly held companies, as well as now in my role as Director of Marketing for Jenny, which is a fast-growing, privately held business. So here today we're going to talk about marketing, and it's going to be a quick 25 or 30 minutes or so of a marketing boot camp. I think you came to this session probably because you either know you need to market yourself or your business, but perhaps you're just not really sure where you should start. You probably think that marketing is expensive, time-consuming, requires a lot of resources, and I'm here to help you through a quick plan that is going to be focused on low-cost or free resources that you can access. I thought we would kind of set the stage here to start with by a show of hands. How many of you are sole proprietors? You work on your own without any other resources or other employees with you, okay? And how many of you have 2 to 5 employees or other associates that you work with? Okay? And anybody in the 5 to 10 range of employees or associates, or 10 or more? Okay. So pretty much smaller sized organizations, which was my expectation, and that's the focus of the presentation. How many of you have been in your business for less than 2 years? Okay. And how many 2 to 5 years? A few of you. And 5 to 10 or 10 years or more. Okay. So last question would be, how many of you have a written marketing plan that you have been utilizing and emphasizing in your business? Okay. So it really all does start with your plan. And that's what you're going to walk away with. And at the end of the presentation, if you either email me or if we scanned your badge as promised in the materials in the write-up, I will send you a marketing plan template that is essentially a fill-in-the-blank template. So it will have all of what I'm covering here in the presentation, the essentials of a marketing plan, and you can just go into the template and actually just fill in the blanks. And in probably a couple of hours of time invested, you can have your first bona fide written marketing plan. But your plan should cover at least 1 year. If you're really ambitious, your plan could cover 2 or 3 years. But at least 1 year you should get down in writing and then come back to it on a regular basis and evaluate it and update it. It should be straightforward, easily understood. Your goal should not be to come away with a big, thick 5-inch binder of materials. It really should be just something that is a few pages. I've worked with some of our resellers at Jenny where we've done simple, like 3 or 4 page marketing plans to get them started, up to maybe 8 or 10 or 12 pages tops. So it doesn't need to be a big, huge document. It should be written pretty straightforward, easily understood. It can be incomplete sentences in some cases. It can be focused on a lot of bullet points. But just its intent is to provide some clear direction for your business plan and goals. So a marketing plan, the benefits to you and your organization, a rallying point for you and for your troops, for either your employees or associates that you work with. It's going to be your chart to success for the future, something you can refer back to over a period of time. and will serve as a means of measurement as you move forward with actually implementing the tactics that are part of your plan. It will serve as your company's operational instructions for the year. Many of you here are, I think, programmers. You're used to working in technology and documenting what you're doing in your technology business. The marketing plan isn't really anything different than that. It's a means of getting it down in writing and documenting it, capturing your thinking when you're committing your battle plan, so to speak, and putting it in writing. And finally, it's really a top-level reflection. It's the means for you to take the time and focus, and really, I do encourage everyone that when you're sitting down to start working on writing your marketing plan, carve out some time in your schedule. Be disciplined about it. Actually, make an appointment in your Outlook calendar and set out some time. Leave your office or your normal environment. Find someplace quiet and secluded where you won't be interrupted with clients, customers, other associates, so that you can really focus on it. As you sit down to do that writing and your preparation, get your battle plan together by pulling all the information that you're going to need at your fingertips so that you don't have to keep interrupting yourself and jumping up to look for this or that or searching your computer files. Spend some time doing that pre-planning before you actually write. Some of the things you'll want to have at your fingertips will be your financial reports. So if you have any forecasts, if you have a P&L, anything that is prepared by your accountant that outlines in financial terms the health and outlook of your business, you want to have that ready and at your fingertips. You want to have your latest sales figures by your product lines or your service lines and categories, a listing of each product or service that you currently offer, as well as the target markets that you are going after with those particular product lines or services. You want to have an understanding of your marketplace. So do a little bit of prep work on who are your competitors, who are you actually going head-to-head on when you're bidding on a job or a piece of business. What geography are you focusing on? Is your geography limited, and what are the limits? Are you open to traveling? Can you work virtually? Can you go after business that's just within your region, or are you able to expand throughout your state, region, the country, the world? You also want to take some time to take a look at your existing distribution channels. How are you actually delivering your product lines or services to your customers? Is there an intermediary step between you and those customers and services that's really important for you to reflect in your marketing plan as you're going after that business? You also want to look at your demographic data as far as that, the customers and target markets that you're going after. And then any information on trends that might help uniquely position your product lines and services, things to take a look at. Perhaps you're not currently focusing on today, but you want to reflect in your marketing plan for the next year or 2 years or even 3 years down the line. And always look to your associates, your sales staff, those that you work with to help you gather this information and solicit from them input that would be very valuable as you're going after various target markets and looking at what your opportunities are for the future. So the first step then, which I always document this in writing, it's a process that I go through on an annual basis with every company that I've worked for, with every marketing plan that I've drafted, and I usually carve out a few hours to do this and bring in a cross-functional team of individuals to help me do it, because it's always really valuable to get good input from others within your business, but is to do this SWOT analysis. So SWOT is strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. Strengths and weaknesses are what are internal to your company. What are the strengths of your company or your business, what you bring to market? What are your weaknesses? Be brutally honest and don't be afraid of committing those to writing because you're going to want to work on addressing those weaknesses going forward with your actionable marketing plans. You also will want to brainstorm what the opportunities are for your business, where the growth is for the future, and then what threats from outside the company, again, are potentially impacting your business and your ability to grow and be successful in the future. So as the result of a brainstorming session, I do it usually with a whiteboard or lots of flip charts, and we're scribbling all over and tacking them up on the walls. There's a lot of insight that can come out of that process, and the collaboration, particularly when you bring other people within your organization into that process, can be very enlightening and impactful as you then take next steps to actually start the writing process of the plan. You want to take a look at then your marketing situation. This you can document in a couple sentences or a couple of paragraphs. It would be your best description of the current state of your marketplace. Again, this can be incomplete sentences or even bullet points, but what are your product services or product service lines that you are engaged in? Define what is the dollar size of your markets to the best of your ability. What is your sales and distribution setup? The geographic area that you're selling to. Describe your audience in terms of population, demographics, and revenue size, if you can take a forecast of that. Define who are your competitors, and historically, how well have your products and services sold. So this would be one page within your marketing plan, a couple of paragraphs, and again, some bullet points to document this information. Next page or next section is going to be establishing your marketing objectives. So here you want to paint a picture of the future by setting objectives that you want to achieve over the course of your plan. So you want to make sure your objectives are specific and quantifiable. Most everybody has heard of SMART objectives, S-M-A-R-T, the acronym. So that stands for, the S is specific, M is measurable, A is actionable, R is realistic, and T is your timeline. So every one of the objectives that you set should follow that SMART objective format. You want to make sure that as you're documenting these that they're very straightforward, and also I really like to focus on the achievable. A lot of marketing plans that I'm asked to review and critique, the objectives may be great objectives, but they often aren't always reasonable or achievable. So don't bite off more than what you can chew. Make sure that it is something that you really can tackle and you could achieve. Some typical marketing objectives are introducing a new product or a new service to your current customer base. It could be an existing product line or service to a new customer base that you go after. Entering a new territory or a new geography for your company. It could be boosting sales in a particular product line or market. It could be cross-selling or bundling your product with another product that you're bringing on board. So then marketing tactics is where the details come in. And this is where you get into really the nitty-gritty. It's defining the specific things that you're going to do that are going to help you achieve those goals or objectives that you have set down. So you want to take each one of those objectives and lay out the steps of how you are going to achieve it. And again, this is really a brainstorming process for you to go through. And you can brainstorm, and I encourage you not to limit yourself through that process, but go ahead and capture on paper all the possible tactics that you could employ that would help you achieve that objective. An example here would be the objective: introduce a new telephone solution to law firms in Smallville, bring on board 3 new clients and bill $175,000. So tactics that a company might employ to achieve that objective would be networking, network with law firms, the target market, at bar association meetings. So that's going to entail either researching the local bar association, finding out what membership or associate membership opportunities there would be, when the meetings are held, and how you would then be able to participate and attend those so that you could achieve that networking objective. A targeted email campaign or a Pearl campaign, or it could be a direct mail campaign, introducing the product solution and benefits to that law firm audience. So that would just be a simple example of the objective, and then here are a couple of tactics on how you could achieve that particular objective. An activity matrix is a good way for you to handle details and implementation. So if you define all of your objectives, then you lay out all of your tactics, and then plot it in a matrix across time. So you can start with by week, by month, by quarter, and roll it out for your whole year. I find this to be really helpful in terms of really making sure that you have thoroughly thought through every activity and what it's actually going to take to achieve that activity. I work with a lot of different vendors. Jenny distributes 150 different manufacturers, and we do marketing plans for probably 30 of our top vendors. And we establish a plan at the beginning of the year, and we try and plot out those activities on a matrix across the year. As with anything, sometimes things don't go according to plan, but if you have documented the activities on your activity matrix, if you run into some obstacles, you then can go back and make adjustments, and you can say, well, it's totally unreasonable that we're going to introduce this new product and have this email campaign ready to go in 2 weeks. We need a minimum of 4 to 6 weeks in order to be able to achieve that, so we can make adjustments in our matrix and plot it out week by week, month by month, and across each quarter of the year. And then the other key element of the activity matrix that's really important is that you assign your tasks to actual individuals who are going to achieve them. Now, in some cases, if you're a sole proprietor or you are a very small company and you don't have a lot of resources, maybe it's going to have your name or initials after every one of the activities. That's okay. But if you do have some associates or other resources that you can help share the load with, then make sure you assign those activities and make sure that those individuals are on board and they understand what activities have been assigned to them, what the deadlines are, and how they're going to be measured. So a budget is really important as well. Done well or poorly, all kinds of business activities and marketing activities included, they all have some kind of cost to them, whether it's an out-of-pocket cost or expense, or whether it's the expense of somebody's time that's invested in taking on the activity. So your plan needs to address what potential costs are associated with the various activities or tactics. Be objective about those, do the research and homework, send things out for quote, do some research online so that you are realistic. But then if you're unfamiliar with certain activities that you don't have a good experience with, you've never, for example, you haven't held a lunch and learn event where you're going to invite end user customers to a lunch and learn and you're going to present, factor in about 20% or 25% above what you think it's going to cost to be able to pad your expenses so that you can account for that in case unforeseen expenses do come in and you go over budget, and you're not shocked when you get that bill. For a lunch and learn, for example, which is a great marketing activity to get in front of end user customers, you're going to need to have a place to actually hold it. So do you need to rent a room in a local Holiday Inn or Hampton Inn? How much is that going to cost to rent? Is there food and beverage associated with it? So what are the costs associated with that? How are you going to invite the end users? Are you going to do a written invitation? Is it going to be designed? Can you do that yourself? Do you have to hire somebody who's going to do that for you? All of those things should be factored in to your budget for every one of the tactics or activities that are part of your plan. Just some of the budget categories to make sure you consider would be advertising in local business publications that reach your target audience. It could be the local business newspaper. In this day and age, everything's online, so it could be online advertising. It could be a Google Ad Clicks program. That would be one category. Another category would be brochure or collateral design, copywriting, printing. That would be associated with producing any collateral materials. Another category would be registration for various business events, exhibits and trade shows that you can participate in. That would put you in contact with potential customers. It could be your professional association membership fees, email marketing software. Everybody's doing electronic marketing these days. There's lots of vehicles that are very cost-effective ways for you to get involved in email marketing. Beyond, if you're very small and just starting up, it could be sending out emails to a small target list that you put into your Outlook contacts. A next step could be contracting with Constant Contact or MailChimp, which are both very economical email marketing programs. It could be taking advantage of email marketing programs that manufacturers or distributors offer. It could be, an example is through Jenny, we have an email marketing tool called Jenny Marketing Pro. That's available to all of our resellers at minimal or no cost. And we do all the legwork. We create the professional marketing campaigns for the various manufacturers, and our resellers are able to go on board and take advantage of those and send out very professional email communications on a regular basis. You also want to have a budget category for your postage if you're still doing some snail mail, which I always advise people that in this day and age where now things have skewed so far to electronic marketing, that actually direct mail, printed pieces, and sending something in the mail is actually an excellent way to cut through the clutter these days. If you think about it, you probably don't receive as much in your mailbox as you used to in many years past. And so we have found that combining a direct mail piece followed up by email messaging is a great way to break through the clutter and increase your awareness and your open rates. And then food, beverage, and room rental fees for lunch and learns, I mentioned, that would be another category that if that's part of your plan for the year, you want to make sure that you capture your costs and outline those in your budget. So some other free or low-cost marketing resources that you can take advantage of. Press releases to the local business press, including online publications, or to trade-specific or channel-specific or vertical-specific publications is a great way for you to get the word out about your capabilities, your company, your expertise. You can do a press release on a successful project that you have either been selected for or you've recently completed. Completed projects make great case studies, and those are always of interest as well. You can do a press release that focuses on a new product line that you're bringing on. If you're doing a lunch and learn or any other kind of an event, you should always do a press release and send that out to that targeted press to help generate some more awareness for that particular event. Social media is a great way for you to, again, low cost or no cost, get the word out about your capabilities and business. If you aren't on LinkedIn, then you should get on LinkedIn and put a great profile about you and your business and your capabilities out there. And if you don't have a LinkedIn company page, you should start one. And then if you want to take next steps even further, the LinkedIn discussion groups are a great way to build community and again to foster discussion and create more awareness and credibility for you as a business and what your skills and expertise are. When I joined Jenny about 3 years ago, Jenny was not involved in social media at all, and so the first thing I did was start up a LinkedIn user group, discussion group. We're up to about 2,500 of our reseller customers who are part of that LinkedIn discussion group. When I first started, it was strictly me all by myself, doing it all, putting whatever I thought was of interest to our customers out there. Over the past 2 years, I've been successful in getting more of my fellow Jenny associates to get involved. We have product managers and business development specialists who regularly go out there on their own and they post. They are putting out ideas on promotions, programs, new products, or just trend information. And so those are all things that you could do as well in a LinkedIn discussion group that you would start. It takes some time to build the following and an audience, whether it's LinkedIn, whether you start a Facebook page, or you start up a Twitter feed. The way to build your following is just to be disciplined, to utilize your links in all of your communications. So if you're doing an email marketing message, make sure that you include the links to LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, or whatever other social media you're engaging in, and invite people to join you and to follow you on Facebook, to follow you on Twitter, to join your discussion group. Over a period of time, as you're disciplined and you continue to post more information, you continue to do more electronic marketing, you'll find that you'll be surprised that how many people will find you and your group will grow. Another recommendation, particularly in the technology field, I think it's very valuable to start a blog and position yourself as an industry expert. So you could sit down, again, as part of your marketing planning process and come up with an editorial calendar, so to speak, of blog subjects, topics that you are qualified to talk on. You can go out into trade press and see what other industry thought leaders are talking on, and you can piggyback on some of those topics in discussion and give your bent on it, your view, your slant on what you think is going on in the industry. And again, over time, as you get out and you're blogging on a more active basis, you'll get a following, and that can lead to greater visibility and more business and customer opportunities for you. I mentioned the free or low-cost email and Pearl campaigns that are offered by distributors and manufacturers. Again, really great means for you to do something that's very quick with minimal investment on your part. And then another means that I highly recommend is look into a college student, an intern. Sometimes you can get them for free where they are getting college credit, and so you don't even need to pay them anything. Some of them may require a small minimum wage or $8 or $9 an hour, but I have found that they are generally a very good investment. College students are looking for a means to build their resume. They have typically in marketing, I've found very adept in the social media, the electronic media, and many of the college interns that I have worked with over probably the last 5 years, a lot of them have been then brought in and are great first employees to bring on board as an entry-level employee. At Jenny, I have 3 very young associates who came to us right out of college, and I can honestly say that they teach me things on a daily basis, and they're bold and brave and not afraid to give ideas and suggestions and to try things that are different. So I would highly encourage you to look for college interns as a source for your business as well. Okay. So I'll breeze through the rest of this a little quick because I did want to leave some room for questions. You don't want to forget to evaluate the effectiveness of your activities. So have a section in your plan that is dedicated to that. Cover off on your gross annual sales from the previous year. Document your marketing expenditures that are planned for the year or years that your plan is covering. And what the percentage of the actual difference is between this year's sales and last year's sales that you and your best estimate feel can be fairly attributed to the marketing effort that you're putting forth. The last section here, the very last thing that you write in your marketing plan, it actually goes at the beginning of the marketing plan, but you're not really prepared to write it until you've gone through and have done all of the work of the marketing plan. And this is the executive summary. So it is the very first page or 2 pages, doesn't need to be more than that. It is a very high-level summary that includes your financial numbers, what your goals are, the content of your plan, and provides a concise description of what your company plans to do in the next year. So that is boot camp. That was a real quick down and dirty on how in about 25 or 30 minutes to write a marketing plan. As promised, if you either provide a business card or have my associate Craig, who's in the back of the room, scan your badge, I will send you a fill-in-the-blank template that will have all of this laid out for you, and you simply can fill it in. So at this point, I would say questions, if we have just a couple minutes for some questions.
Can you just go back one slide, please?
Yes. What? One question there? Like him and then you. Okay. All right. Go ahead.
So, Tony Clay, North Star Networks. A bit interested in the intern. We're in California. We're just a bit concerned about, what else you have to do. Typically, what happens with an intern? You hire them for 6 weeks, or?
It can vary. It depends on whether they are earning college credit and what the requirements of their college.
So how did you outreach to get that? Just contact your local college? Is that
Yes.
your local business college and
yes.
say, we're looking for somebody for
Contact the head of the business school
Right.
and let them know what you're looking
Great,
for, the
thank you.
profile and background.
And then in your experience, is there a time period that that is attractive to draw them in?
Marketing internships, if they're looking for a summer internship, and I can speak very close to this because my daughter, who's a junior in college, she's a business marketing major, and right now she has been going through the prepping and planning process for her internship, which will take place this summer. So she is in process of sending out resumes. She's been doing some interviews. She hopes to then have something secured by no later than January or February to start in May or June. So that's kind of the time frame that the college students are looking for a summer internship.
So how many weeks?
They usually have a minimum number of hours that they have to put in for credit,
Okay.
which can translate roughly into 4 to 6 weeks.
Okay,
Sometimes it could be longer or a little bit shorter.
Thank you very much.
Yes.
Thank you. It was a great question. We've run out of time.
Okay.
Can we all give Susan a hand for her excellent presentation?
Thank you.